Welcome back to the Tim and Steve Show. I am Tim Beard.
I'm Steve Morris.
How you doing, Steve?
Pretty good. Got my computer volume up. Got to ring in the new holiday day after for you. Did you hear that? Sorry.
No, I didn't hear it.
Yeah, it dinged right as you were introducing yourself.
It seemed like a long weekend.
It was a long weekend. It was 4th of July, celebrating
Independence Day.
Independence Day for those of us that aren't afraid to show our love for this experiment they started in 1776.
Yeah, so we that was my phone making noise.
So professional here on the
We
Tim
are.
and Steve Show.
We're very professional. So we went to the fireworks last night in Claremont. So we went to Monadnock Park. I watched them before, but usually like at Big Lots parking lot or whatever, because you can see them and then traffic's easier to get out. But you don't really see like the low ones. And anyway, so we're down there, and I think I love 4th of July. I love fireworks. Like that's just always have my whole life. I love fireworks, but so I think the 4th kind of brought out more of that like patriot in me. That I mean, everybody knows I am that anyways, but it just pisses me off. Like I see some people walking around with masks on, and I'm like, you shouldn't even be here. You should be at home, scared, hiding in the closet. What independence are you celebrating?
Yeah, they're not an independent thinker.
No, you worshiping your Fauci God, and it just I don't know. And be honest with you, there's probably 1,000 people there, and I probably saw like 4 people walking around. And at the very end, when I went to leave, there was like a family. I don't know, like a few people in the family wearing them as they walked out, but.
I felt bad for this one child. I went and picked up some stuff out in town this weekend here in Newport, not even in like New London, where you expect to see people walking around with masks on. But anyway, they had masks on, and neither one of them fit them properly. And I just chuckled to myself, like, if you're gonna do it right.
I can't even chuckle anymore. I like just.
I felt
stuff.
bad. Like you have these gaps right here, and I'm pretty sure one of them was a N95 mask, or it was a knockoff because it was more than a surgical mask. But anyway, if you're not wearing it properly, and if you're not maintaining good proper hygiene with your hands, right? So if you take it off when you come out of there and you shove it in your pocket, like which I've seen recently at Hannaford on Friday. A couple walked out. He put his in his, or she shoved hers in her front pocket. He took his off, put it underneath his hand as he was pushing his cart. And they're going to wear that again.
Yeah.
And even if you take that thing and wipe off the cart, like it's just common sense. Like we were sold a bill of goods, and yes, COVID was bad at the beginning, but unless all of a sudden the virus, I'm not a doctor or anything else, but I did take a lot of biology honors, chemistry honors, all those kinds of things. So at least I have an idea of what's going on, or I learned some basics about viruses. And the one thing I did learn, and I've heard it repeated since this whole thing broke out, is they lessen over time because they don't want to kill their host. Because if the host dies, they die.
Exactly.
Like, unless that has all changed, and they found this new massive virus that, right now everything is okay. I'm sure they're going to try to scare everybody again, and it doesn't help that some people are already still scared because they're walking around. They're getting their 5th booster. And I'm pretty sure I saw something. Granted, I didn't do all the research. That's why I'm saying I'm pretty sure. But it all loses, like your immune system gets destroyed more and more that you put into your body, allegedly.
Right. That's why they say eating like all this meat and stuff that they pump all these antibiotics into. Antibiotics, which are a miracle drug when they come out, penicillin, they don't work anymore because your body is used to them. So you're only supposed to have them once in a while when you need them, but they pump so much of it into your food that that's not good.
So I don't know. I don't take my word for it. Just do some research. I'm pretty sure most people listening to this aren't wearing masks still.
Oh yeah, no, we would have pissed them off on show number 1, and they never would have watched it again. Wow, there's a couple, but
no, I mean, just use some common sense.
Common sense isn't common anymore.
Research how to wear a mask. If you're going to wear it and you're going to force it on your child, like have them do it properly so that they're getting the supposed benefits of said mask. But if you're wearing an N95 mask and it's not properly fit to your face, it's useless.
Listen, if you want my respect and you're wearing a mask, go full on. Wear a respirator. Full blown, do it to it. Then I can look at you and be like, you know what? You're scared, but at least you're actually taking a precaution that legitimately would probably work for you. So it'd be like, all right, let's do it. Go full blown.
And I read something where somebody asked their kids' friends, because two of them were over and they were wearing masks kind of half rear-endedly. And so, this is a story anecdotally that he relayed that I read, but he asked them why they're wearing a mask. And, it's like, I'm just used to it, whatever. And, they're insecure about their face. They don't want people looking at them, so it gives them something to hide behind, which goes to something I think that was said maybe at a meeting at one point, which is kids right now, they're having a hard time communicating with each other.
Yeah. Wonder why. Remember last week when I was telling you, was it Friday? I was telling you because this happened on Thursday when my nephew had to come home from camp because, there was an outbreak of COVID in the cabin he was in. Well, they tested him. He doesn't have COVID. But one of the kids that he was in camp with, who was vaccinated, he got COVID. Thought that was interesting.
And again, I saw, once somebody's looking for something, it's easy to find. But somebody had put somebody's angry tweet up. It was somebody that had been boosted 4 times. Their kid had been boosted twice, so that's 3 shots for the kid, 5 for the adult. And then the kid's school said, hey, we want to see the kids smile, so no mask required. So they all got COVID and blamed it on not wearing a mask. But it's like, well, if you have all these vaccines, why are you mad that you got COVID? Right? Like, you have the vaccine, so why? But it was like an angry lash out at the school, and I don't know where it was, and it could have just been a bot making it up. It could have been somebody, what I mean? It's hard to tell with something like that. But anyway, it just made me sad at the end of the day because this poor kid's gotten boosted twice and still getting COVID. They're probably wearing, and the mom and dad make them wear a mask outside of school. They wear a mask at the house. I mean, it was like a long rant, but basically at the end of it was he blamed it on the school for letting them take masks off. But I don't know. I have a whole different outlook on it. I think I've said that several times. Like, I'm not worried. My wife has been taking care of patients that have had it since the very beginning.
Right. The scary part of it in the beginning when we didn't know anything about it. It was scary. I was told in the beginning, like, yeah, all right, maybe we should be wearing masks. But then when Fauci came out and said, well, no, you don't need to wear them. Like, which, yes, I know some of that was so that we didn't all run out and buy them and just take everything the market had.
They had to wait for all the Chinese masks to get in.
Right. Well, to make sure the deal was worked out. Wait, you said...
the billions of dollars that California spent on masks.
You said that China. If we created the virus and let it go, that we would get the mask sales. So you can't tell us, like, you can't back out of the deal now. So I wanted to shout out to Shannon McMichael at Noise Rest Fireworks. So she obviously sponsored up to the 4th. So it's not, we didn't lose a sponsor, just that was the whole plan. And awesome fireworks display. We had a $1,000 show. That same thing I've done every year for like a couple of years now, $1,000 show. And which $1,000 is a lot of money, but amazing as ours. I saw a few ones in there. I'm like, yeah, I remember that from last year. Then a lot of new ones that I'm like, I don't remember this one. And only one little mishap, totally on me. It wasn't on her, obviously. I don't remember what happened. Like, it's because I put 2 of the reloadables next to each other, and they were on like the fender, and like one tipped over or something, and then it ended up catching the 4th firework in the row on, to go. So that was kind of a mishap there. But
I didn't even notice it.
No, yeah, that was a mishap. Then one kind of like, of course, I had all the reloadables right here, right where this all happened, and one like luckily went under the trailer and went off, and I was like, oh crap. But last year I hooked them all together, and I didn't do it this year because the same thing happened to me last year, and then I had to like do the whole show with one quick thing, and so next year I'll have to put those reloadables just like off to the side over. But Awesome show, awesome time.
I
It was
went
fun.
and I spent $100. I've picked out my own stuff, and so I wish I would have. The second to last one should have been the finale, like the one that I lit last that had like the final chapter. So I thought maybe it was, yeah, I think it was just a scary name or something they tried to give it. But anyway, I was like, oh, this must be a good finale type. But anyway, it went well. Did it over at my brother's house. Snuck
Nice.
out there.
Nice. I love fireworks. Fireworks have like, as long as you're safe with them, don't do stupid stuff with them, then, because last night at the fireworks thing, Amelia was like, oh, could you get these fireworks? I'm like, you have to have a license because it's an explosive. And yeah, but could you? I'm like, I could, but Claremont's fireworks display last night was probably like between $10,000 and $20,000. So sure, I could get it. We couldn't afford to let any of them off, but because those are big mortar ones, like, they're explosives. I mean, if you hold one of those reloadables in your hand is gone, and it's like anything. If you do it safely, you're good. But if you're dumb and you're drunk or just do something stupid, make a mistake, pay the price sometimes for it. But luckily, we didn't. Yeah, I mean, that was a mishap, but that wasn't a dangerous mishap that, I was like, oh. I had one a couple years ago, went off, and the side of it blew out or something, and the tube hit me in the leg. And I was like, oh, what the hell? Like, it was like, oof, that was rough. But for the most part, I never had any really issues with. I did have one reloadable. I asked Shannon too. I'm like, have you ever seen one not leave the tube? She's like, no. I said, this one blew up in the tube, which the tube held it. It did blow the side of the tube out, but the problem was the tube went like flying. This is many years back, but we're fortunate because you can have fireworks in New Hampshire where you go to MASH, you can't have fireworks. Even North Carolina, I saw down there, you're not allowed to. I'm like, North Carolina, the South, like you can't have fireworks. You can have those little snakes and stuff, but it's like,
Yeah, it's like that in Colorado because of the desert-like conditions and all
well, I
the
mean,
forest fires.
I can understand that. I was a little worried about this weekend too because it's really dry. Like we really need rain. As much as I hate to have rain, I mean, it's nice for the garden, but we really do need a couple days at least.
We need a good soaking.
Yeah, because the little bit of rain we've got, it's just been a quick downpour kind of
Yeah.
thing, which doesn't do anything. But that's weird.
That was yours.
That was my oopsies. Man, we're just making all kinds of mistakes today. Yeah, so that was Saturday, and that was a good time. It was a lot of fun. I did Alicia's graduation party, and we did fireworks at the end, and Sunday didn't really do anything. And then yesterday, went up to the land, did some stuff up there. Trying to figure out, need to get my cow pregnant. So we get her pregnant in July. That way 9 months from now, will have a calf. And we're going to do like the artificial insemination thing. I don't know who does that or whatever. But the lady I got the cow from, well, the two cows from, messaged her and she's like, well, I have a really nice bull that's timid and stuff. If you want to have him come up for a couple months, you'll just have to rent the trailer to bring him up and back. And so I think we're going to do that. I was like, well, how was he? So I had two bulls. Those are the first cows I ended up with. It was two bulls, and they were young. But every day I'd go up to the land, and it was out. It was on my neighbor's land, eating its grass, because he has really nice grass across the street. And then one day he was like eating the ivy on the side of the barn, and I'm like, I can't do this. I cannot. Every day it kept getting out. Like this electric fence didn't work. And he's like, no, he's really good. And I showed her the fence I got, so we're probably gonna do that. It'd be easier anyways. Just rather do it naturally like that. But she's like, well, she didn't eat. And I don't know. I don't know, man. Like I'm new at this farming thing. Like I can feed them, I can clean their stalls, I can do that, but it's about the extent of that. Like I don't know when they're in heat. I don't know that stuff. Right?
So we need to get Emilio into the FFA class,
Yeah,
animal husbandry, so he can learn and teach you.
that'd work.
I wonder if they have adult classes for that around here. Maybe not. Like
We just gotta go over and see Ben and Sam over at Beaver Pond Farm, and they've had animals for years, and they've been doing. They're a couple generations farmer. That's what we need to do. We'll go over and see Johnny Johnson over there at Sanctuary. There, their farm over there. Same deal. They've been doing it for. I used to get milk there as when I was a little kid with my grandfather. It was pretty cool. So yeah, I think we're gonna do that. So I'm excited. Just want to get her pregnant for this year, and then next year get Angel pregnant again, and then at that point I'll be able to get Bella, our milking cow, pregnant because she'll be 2 at that point, and then which I think at that point I should be able to use the bull we had this year for next year for Bella, and then obviously I'll need a different bull for Angel because that's her calf. But yeah, piglets are getting bigger.
They're still getting out.
No, we finally fixed it. Andrea thinks she figured it out. It was on the side that the shavings were stacked up. Somehow they're getting the paw. Well, it was only this one every time, getting its hooves in there and somehow escaping, but they haven't got out since then. So I've never had piglets like that. Never. Like,
Hey, till the pigs fly.
yeah, and I think these ones flew.
Yeah, because you're.
I was like, we got
I
to
don't
put
know
a
how
camera
they
in
got
here.
out because
They was 4 feet tall, and they don't climb wall. The goat can get out of anything. Goats can get out of anything. No, these are piglets. They were like 20, 25 pounds.
yeah, your goat's like a cartoon goat that like gets out, and then whenever you go and get
Dude.
mad at it, it slips right back in somewhere else. It's like, what are you talking
I
about?
had a fixed fence. Well, we had a fixed fence yesterday. So we're in feeding Mac. So Mac's our big boar, but he's the sweetest thing there is. He's just such a good boy. Very docile. A lot of boars aren't that way. He is. And I look, I'm like, are you kidding me? There's Bullwinkle, our calf, who's now 4 or 5 months old, and in the pen with Mac because the cows keep rubbing on his fence. So the cows are on the outside of Mac's pen, but they're rubbing on it and they're breaking it all in. So now the calf's in there, and Mac's good because he could just be like, "Hey, I don't like this," and he doesn't care. He's just like, whatever. You feed him, he's totally chill. He gets out, you grab some food, he'll follow you back. He's cool. You do that with Turbo, was the sow. Yeah, no, not happening. It's a challenge, trust me. But so we had to fix that fence. Then we put the electric fence up this time. Like, let's put the electric fence around it. That crap don't work.
Didn't help.
No, we're gonna go over to Runnings today probably and get some actual wire because I got like that horse stuff, the yellow. It's like it's safer for horses and blah blah blah. No, I want something that's gonna shock them and actually work because that's the point of an electric fence. Plus the problem is I don't have power at the barn still, so it's solar. I think that's some of it too because if it plugged in, it would be a little different. But they didn't. They touched it. I mean, the little calf was like mixed up in it. I'm like, they're gonna wreck this thing already. We just put it up, it wasn't going off, and I'm like, what the heck? Little Lydia touched it and it worked, but yeah,
Oh, cows got a little thicker skin than we do.
yeah. Usually though, I did. I put a fence up for my friend once. This horse stuff. I'm like, it doesn't work. I don't know what's going on. We messed with it. Then I touched it, and then the horse touched me. Holy crap! It worked because it went through this arm, went out this arm into the horse, grounded out through its hoofs, and I was
Was
like,
the horse
whoa.
ticked off? The,
Oh yeah, horse was like, whoa, what did I do? So I have another position here for the school, middle school English teacher in 8th grade. They're looking for that. That was posted, I think, today. Richard Free Library still looking for some book donations. And then Thursdays at 1, they're doing the summer reading program on the side of the lawn of the library under the pine trees. And then starting tomorrow, Wednesdays in July and August, 9:30 to 11:30 at the Library Art Center. It's an art class for kids, $10 a class. So, and then tomorrow, LATFA has their job fair, noon to 3. Lunch is provided. So if you're looking for a career or job or whatever, I used to work there years ago. It was a good place to work. I'm not an inside working person. I can't. It's just not me. It's not in me. But if you're interested in this is a place that, it's machine shop. So you may start out like in the deburring shop, which is a lower paying job, and you could work your way up to running a machine or something. And so yeah,
Or if you have the skill set, you might.
yeah, you could. Yeah, they may start right on a machine, depending what they're looking for, and it's a good job to get into, and it's opportunities to go other places too. If
Right
you
here
know.
in town.
Yeah, right in town, right in Kellyville, bottom of the hill for you.
Yep.
You could walk to it every day.
I could. It'd be horrible walking back home, but
Yeah, I'd get a ride from someone on the way home though.
big hill.
Yeah. Then Sunday the 17th, at between 11 and 2, is the Black Ash Basket Weaving to Sullivan County Complex in Unity. So if you're interested in that, that would be pretty cool. And then this Sunday's band on the concert's the Shauna Jackson Band. I'm wondering if that's someone in relation to Tammy Jackson, who was really, really good here in town. And I don't know.
Never heard of them.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the local stuff. Not a lot of stuff going on. It didn't look super hard, but there's tons of stuff going on. It's just a matter of
Well, you
finding
get
it.
this school board position. I think tomorrow's the deadline to turn in your
Okay.
surveys if anybody's interested in the filling the open
That's right, because
position.
then the meeting is
The meeting is next Thursday.
next Thursday. Not this Thursday, next Thursday.
But I
Yep.
think it said the 7th
Was the deadline.
was the deadline to submit your questionnaire.
Yeah, that makes sense because it's 7 days before the meeting. Yeah. So you just reach out to SAV. And then you said you think Donna started
On the 1st.
on the 1st. Cool. That's good. So
Yeah,
we can,
so new era at Newport.
yeah, making progress. Well, going forward.
Well, moving forward.
Moving
yeah.
forward. That's a better word. Moving forward. And, yeah, hopefully it works out and lots to do. But,
Heard good things about her.
yeah, absolutely. The only thing, actually, the local thing I had here is, and this is a place I actually, so Basking Road Blueberry Farm is doing pick your own blueberries, 8 to 6. They started yesterday. And,
They're already blooming?
oh, yeah.
Are they already blue?
Yeah. So this is where over the weekend I picked up 3 of those blueberry bushes I was telling you about because they were buy 2 get 1 free. They're $75 a bush, but I got the 6-year-old ones. They had younger ones there that weren't as much money, but they already had berries on them. They weren't blue. Well, actually, I saw yesterday one that turned blue, but they're up on Bascom Road. They got a ton of blueberry bushes down there.
Nikki dropped me off at the fireworks store, and she went over there, but she didn't buy me any blueberry bushes.
What the heck?
I thought that was the whole. I mean, she got some eggs and some onions, but
She got some what?
onions and eggs.
Eggs?
Yep.
She bought eggs.
Yeah.
I have eggs.
I know. I asked you about them. I told her we need to get some eggs.
So I need to bring
egg
them over
crates.
to your house?
No. I asked you, and you kind of gave me like I'm selling them for $4, and I'm like, well, I don't want to cut into your profit. I do have $4 on me though.
I mean, even if I charged you the $4, you still could have bought those eggs, which I wouldn't have charged you. I would have gave them to you.
I know.
Now they're $10.
No, but we got to get some egg crates and stuff. Because I told her, she was like, because I was like, oh, aren't you going to get, to be honest, to be fair, I said, aren't you going to go grab some from Tim and Andrea? She's like, well, they're only producing like 2 or 3 eggs. I'm like, no, they're up to like a dozen a day.
Where has she been?
I don't know, but I remember you telling
Yeah,
me.
we're at
I'm
like
pretty
a
sure
dozen.
she was there when you said you're getting like 12
Yeah.
to 15 eggs a day or something like that.
No, we're doing the whole dozen a day at this
Yeah.
point. So if anyone out there wants for eggs, $4 a dozen to meet you in town.
Yeah, because you even said that on the show, so that's why I was like.
Because she
not
doesn't
only-
watch the show.
I know, I'm going to have to get on to my own wife can't bump our numbers up.
Yeah. And, yeah, so we were thinking, so if we do $4 a dozen and sell, what? $4, if we could sell 4 dozen a week, that would pay for the grain. Because the grain's 18 change. It's about a week you get out of it. We're not looking to make any money. But if it would pay for the grain, that'd be pretty sweet. So I was like, yeah.
You know, I was looking because I'm trying to teach myself and then talk about it on the show on Fridays. So I've been talking about inflation and all that good stuff. But the genesis of that was for the rising cost of food and eggs, particularly. And so I got my Shaw's app open the other day. I opened my Shaw's app, and the grade A farm raised free chicken, no shots and all that stuff are like $7 a dozen. Wow. That's for like they're not. Now I can go buy the inoculated eggs that have all kinds of chemicals allegedly put into the chicken to keep them healthy. They're not as expensive, but still $6.99. I think it was $6.99 for.
So our chickens. So
Grass fed,
no. So
tender loving care chickens. No, but so
but
it's not $12 a dozen yet, but that was what started because somebody had put some fear tweet or something out there that was getting pushed around about eggs are going to be $12 a dozen.
yeah. So we don't.
So
So
that's what generated my whole interest, and let's really dig into the finances because
right.
you're doing chickens. You also have a goat and cattle, pigs. All I have is fruits and vegetables out there, some gourds.
Yeah.
So all I need is water and good soil. But
Yeah.
you, on the other hand, you could be saving the town, you and all the other chicken farmers out there, so that we're not paying $12 a dozen for eggs because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that is ridiculous. Very, very ridiculous.
And the other thing, I mean, while I'm talking about it, is oh man, I just lost my train of thought. We had talked about the increase of cost. What were we talking about the other day? The increase of cost, not just for eggs. And you had pointed it out. Oh, for gas. Remember how I looked up the gas because we thought it was under Obama because that's when Nikki graduated and that's when Nikki got the car that had
yeah.
the Supreme unleaded, whatever.
Yeah.
Which she told me it didn't. Anyway, that's how I know when the gas was over $4.
Right.
So you pointed it out, but I've started seeing some big people pick it up that you can go back and look at the cost per barrel. Remember when I was telling you how much the barrels were, and you're like, that's $20 more than it is right now, and we're paying more now than we were back then. And so that's picking up some steam because you caught that glitch. You're like, wait a second, that's $20 more. And so it's interesting, right? So it was more expensive in 2009 and 10 per barrel, but we're paying more for gas now. So how do you reconcile that?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure there's reasons for it that they'll give us, but it doesn't really make sense in the grand scheme of things. If it was more back then, why are we paying more for it now? So anyway, I want to give you a shout out because you actually caught that when I was talking about it that day, and I've seen it getting picked up by the smaller guys.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's funny when you do this stuff and you look into stuff, you really start to
You start to question everything.
You really start to find things and like, wait a minute, that doesn't even make sense. But you never get to sit down with a person or question a person right in front of you that you want to be like, you just said this, but how come? Because media doesn't do their job anymore. So in the way back, media would have been like, well, wait a minute, Mr. President, you said it's the gas companies, that are screwing us all basically, but you did this, 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 and this. Right. Explain. They don't do that anymore. It's just, here's the information, you go push it.
Right.
No, that's not how this
on behalf of the government, which is kind of
right.
odd because you think of, you always think of, what is it, Woodward and Bernstein, they're these anti-establishment, the government's not going to influence me. That was at least what was portrayed as I was a child. Like the whole
right.
Watergate was journalists or the Fifth Estate, they keep everybody honest. And
right.
now they're just
honest.
pushing narratives.
Yeah, they're basically like
they're pushing narratives for the highest paid appetizer or...
Yeah, so they're just like any other, so they're like North Korea or China or any of the Middle Eastern countries, like all their information is one-sided, you say what we say, and that's it. Well, that's happening right now in this country.
Yeah, even us even if we're just confused and we read some bad information, like people would rather cancel us than sit down with us and say, hey, did you look at this? Did you see this? Because you guys might be getting lost in some minutia or your bias is overwhelming you. Look at this data right here, which, we try to do. I try to ask the opposing questions sometimes because, you got to think about it from all sides. But it's not going on right now. Right now it's a total everybody gets away with everything, especially when you compare it to the last 4 years to where if anybody in the Trump organization implied or said something that might even be partially wrong or said with a tone of which they did not approve, they would trash them and trash that whole idea, and you're an idiot and you're a pariah on society for even thinking like that. And it's like, well, wait a second, why? Like, it makes sense to me.
Yeah, and this guy can't even put a sentence together.
No, not even.
But it's all good.
Sometimes we have our struggles putting a sentence together.
Yeah, but we haven't been in public politics or the public for 50 years.
That's true. And we're not the president,
Right. So,
the quote unquote leader of the free world. I don't know what freedom they're talking about. But.
yeah, we'll get into more of that soon too. But here's my meme of the day. Ghislaine Maxwell cell's ready for her. You notice a woman in the pantsuit over there under the shade there?
Oh, that Hillary, that old hill dog.
That's Hillary. Oh, I did have another one of those too. Let's there it is. See, I found another meme and then I lost it, but we'll share that with this next story. So we're going to talk about this last week, ran out of time. So R. Kelly got 30 years in prison for sex trafficking, and which I'm fine with that. He deserves it. He's a piece of
That's
crap.
taken a long time for him to get. I remember South Park did a joke on him about 10 years ago.
He got away with it a long time. Then he finally didn't get away with it, and now he's getting 30 years, which goes off to this next thing was starting to happen more and more.
Wait a second.
Go
You
ahead.
don't have the meme for R. Kelly?
No meme.
There's a meme out there that says, "Can we redo my trial? I was on the client list." Get
That's so you should have told me that before. We could have had that bad boy.
it? Oh, if you
So-
know, you know. But anyway,
So Musk has been going on after this for a little while, but now other people are starting to go after it. So UFC champ asked a question of all our minds is what's up with Ghislaine Maxwell's client list. So Israel Adesanya is his name? Yeah.
Adesanya.
So he's a UFC champ, and he's gone off, and which this is awesome. I love when people finally starting to like wake up and be like, wait, this isn't right. So
It's not normal.
no, so he was doing an interview prior to one of the events, and he says who provided underage Ghislaine Maxwell provided underage girls for convicted pedo Epstein and his associates just received 20 years of sex trafficking, and who has already proven based on Elon Musk saying about the client list. So he says Ghislaine Maxwell was supplying kids for all these effing pedos, right? And do any of them get time for actually effing those kids? And he just goes off on this whole thing like, where are the clients?
Yeah, like
Where are they?
hey, they'll do a bunch of exposés on Ghislaine and Epstein, but they always tend to leave off who they're supplying the kids to. I guess they or the underage girls, or so we know that Prince Andrew is allegedly one of them because of the court case brought up by one of the girls.
This is a fascinating question. Some random dude in New York City recorded a TikTok complaining about what the hell does that say? Oh, bodegas, and we found out where the guy worked and got him fired. But I mean, Schmuck's on Twitter yet one of the most powerful men supplying underage girls to some of the most powerful men in the world, and nothing.
So what the guy do?
So there's a guy that was
Bodega? He was
yeah,
asking questions.
No, he was complaining about bodegas, and he got fired because of it. I think he just moved to New York City. I did see the story, but I didn't talk about it. But he's just making the point that so this dude makes a TikTok and gets fired and because of cancel culture and all that, but nothing. And he says, I mean, Epstein counted among his boys Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, and if you threw in Bill Cosby, he would have hit the Bills trifecta. But even Cosby has standards, which I don't agree with that. But the reason we might not know Maxwell's list is because the last time names started to leak, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Maxwell's family was already concerned about. She was saying that she wasn't going to kill herself, and then she was on the suicide watch, even though she
said she's not suicidal.
says she's not suicidal. Which
Yeah, there's some powerful people allegedly on those lists. I mean, I've seen flight logs. I don't know if they're real or not, but you can find them out there.
so
You
yeah,
see, on the flight logs that I have seen, like granted, I don't know if they're real or not, but it's got actors, athletes, politicians.
Yeah.
It's a who business leaders. It's a who's who of
Yeah, and all these people would go down.
people who make a lot of money.
So a huge part of our government, Hollywood, athletes would all go down if that list came out. So that's why the list is protected. Yeah. Here's another meme, which fits with this one. So if you're wondering why the pedophiles in Ghislaine Maxwell's sex ring have never been named, here's a potential clue. Bill walking Chelsea down the aisle at her wedding, and there's Ghislaine right there.
She's like at everything.
Just like, just like Jeffrey was. He was everywhere. He was
Yeah, he was hobnobbing with.
all the who's the whole thing. Like,
Also, we didn't throw it out there, but there's also quote unquote intellectuals on there from colleges and
yeah, I'm sure.
you know doing all the research.
So how does this woman get 20 years for sex trafficking to who?
Yeah, I mean we'll keep asking that question, but it takes everybody getting like. They owe us an answer as citizens. Like I sit here and I got to listen to people, and I'm like, "Were you on the flight?"
Yeah.
Like, why would I listen to you? Like, I got it. Like, we all make mistakes. Maybe you got on that flight, didn't know what you were getting yourself into. Own up to it, answer it, say what you saw.
Yeah.
Tell your story. Why did you end up in this situation, and what did you do to get out of it, and what happened?
Can you imagine being the victims of these people, and you think the system is there to help you, protect you, and then when they fail at that, at least get your justice, if it could be ever justice for something like that, but people going to jail. So that if you're the victim of this, so you're these young women that aren't young women anymore, and you know all these people that have done these things to you, horrible, horrible things to you, raped 2, 3, 4 times a day, you'll never get back that. Like, once they take that from you, there's nothing you can get. But at least watching them go to jail would be a little something, right? It'd be a little bit of, sleep better at night maybe. But can you imagine the system that none of it's happened? None of it. So we tell our kids everything that, you go to
we try to teach them that this is America, truth, justice, the American way. And
right.
Yeah, unless you got money.
Right.
Then the truth and justice doesn't apply to you.
Yeah, I think that might be changing.
I hope so. I mean, it's
going to change.
We need it to change. We need people
It has to change.
Demand to their elected leaders.
Yeah. So over the weekend there was there was a lot, but Chicago, to bring Chicago into the news, which honestly we could talk about this every Monday, or in this case Tuesday because Monday was a holiday, but so there was a parade, and this POS shot and killed 6 people, injured 14, and he was out for a while. They didn't know who he was or where he was, whatever, but they did catch him, I guess, near the Wisconsin border.
This guy who has an IMDb page is an actor, rapper.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Okay.
Let's just go out there on a limb and say that right now, I bet he was on a list somewhere.
Definitely.
Yeah. He looks like a little weirdo, too. I didn't want to say his name because I didn't want to dignify it with... Because I think sometimes that some of it, too, is... It's a little bit of fame for them. And unfortunately, he was taken... he was seen attending a...
Trump rally dressed as Where's Waldo?
Is that their way of trying to be like, oh, he was right-wing Trump supporter?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't care who you support.
Well, if I
You're
were
a
to
piece of
apply
crap if
common
you do that.
sense, and if he were actually a Trump supporter, which would mean that he's conservative, I would garner to guess that a Trump supporter who claims to be patriotic and putting America first would not engage in a crime of which he is accused of.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Like, why would you? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, maybe so, right? But at the grand scheme of things, it just doesn't make any sense.
No, it's
Yeah, but we can probably guarantee he was on the list. He's probably known by the FBI, probably the cops. Everybody probably had an eye out on him.
right. because they already seem to, you know,
Yeah.
but they never seem to
They never seem to.
stop it.
Yeah, but they want to stop you from buying ammo. And
Right. You shouldn't have a gun.
did you see that in New York's now after they handed down the Supreme Court law saying that they can't restrict like how they were? Then the governor, I think, came out, or her office said that they're going to start looking at the last 3 years of your social media account to see if you're worthy of getting a license. So somebody now is going to be the arbiter of your free speech, where you can say just about anything, right? There's only a couple things you can't say.
Hold that thought.
Was that on your list?
No. But it goes perfect with something after this. So, it's also over in Chicago over the weekend. 54 people were shot and 7 killed by gunmen. And I don't know for sure, but I believe this stat was before this shooting at this parade.
Yeah, that's what stats are about every weekend coming out of Chicago.
Yeah, it's usually somewhere in the 50s, you know, which I just want to point out right now that
Well, the Illinois governor's trying to block guns. Like he's trying to, even though it's hard. Chicago is like New York, where you can't really.
they have the strictest gun laws in the country.
Laws, and they always have the highest crime. But
Constantly.
so they're going to try to convince us that you need even more stricter. Right?
Because if you look at every weekend in Chicago, this is about the number you see every single weekend.
Yeah, Chicago, Detroit, Houston, St. Louis. That's
But you never,
dangerous.
but you never hear about it, do you? Now you hear about it because some, you know, white scumbag shot up a, you know, mass shooting.
Is he white?
I don't know. He looked white. I'm sure we'll find out if he's not. Well, no, he won't. I don't care what
All right,
color
let's
he's in,
keep
but-
moving here. What do we have?
So, anyways, then did you see? I'm not sure what day it was. Well, let's look here. I took the date off it, but it was end of last week or over the weekend. There was a mass shooting in Copenhagen, in Denmark, and 22-year-old suspect was arrested and admitted to the psychotic. Was admitted to a psychotic facility, but he killed three. He reportedly killing 3 people and wounding several others. And I just want to point out once again that Denmark has the toughest, like some of the toughest gun laws in the world. Nobody owns guns there without, you know, permits, blah, blah, blah. So it's just another whole gun laws don't work because evil people do evil things no matter what. So, I mean, that's the whole point of, you know, even talking about it is, you know, a good guy with a gun will stop a bad guy with a gun.
Yeah, but they'll use it, right? So they're going to use these things to tighten up laws, to start a social credit score like we're in China, right? So, oh, Tim, you posted something that we didn't like. Some bureaucrat that you didn't elect has judged you. You can't really drive your car this week. So sit at home and think about what you said and readdress it, delete your post, come back, more positivity, and then maybe you can go back out to work next week or go do whatever. But we're going to come get your guns too, by the way, because I don't like what you're saying. I don't like your tone.
Yeah.
The way you're typing offends this bureaucrat in this office.
Yeah.
Or the AI.
Right. So
anyway, that's why I wanted to point that out. Is it's another we're going to solve. Here's a problem. Right, so the Supreme Court took away. So now they're going to try to up the ante, which ties back to vaccine passports. Right, it all comes out to a social credit system. I'm not going on a social credit system. I graduated from school. I'm on my own. Leave me alone. Don't bother me.
Yeah.
Spend my tax dollars judiciously and be good stewards of government money. That's all I ask.
So
stop sending billions of dollars to overseas countries that are the source of a lot of political crimes, allegedly, over the last 5 years. You know, Trump called out what Biden was doing, and Trump got impeached for it.
Yeah, and then we send billions to Ukraine, the same place that he was laundering his money to start with, allegedly. So Florida and Kentucky, so Roe versus Wade was overturned, which is the Supreme Court. The highest court there is. There is no other court.
Yeah. So they deemed.
So there's a judge. a judge in Florida and a judge in Kentucky that just put a ban on the abortion bans that these states were going to pass. Although the highest court in the land just said they couldn't do it. So once again, we have judges that don't care about
Are
law.
they federal judges or state judges?
They're federal judges, but like for the state, so they're below the Supreme Court.
No, I know, but like you have a state Supreme Court, right? So that law that they're passing still has to pass their state constitution.
Yeah, but if they pass it in their Congress,
Right, then it's their law. But even
Correct.
still, like we have laws that get challenged.
Yeah.
I'm only asking because it'll make a difference, right? So like if it's a state.
no, I'm just saying there's judges out there that think they're above laws, and that,
Yeah, there's plenty of them.
and which just goes back to New York trying to still do something that is unconstitutional.
Yeah,
Well, don't think about it.
Stand up and be
They
like,
want to make
I'm not
more
doing
laws that they
social
don't
credit.
enforce. They only enforce the laws they want to enforce. That is not how this country works. There's checks and balances, but there's been no balance lately. It's all, no, this is what we want. We don't care what the Supreme Court says. Well, then you all should go to jail because you're all in contempt of court. And everyone could argue the Roe versus Wade thing, but the reality is it never should have been decided by the Supreme Court. Now, the topic itself,
Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that herself.
exactly, it's a state right. If it's not in the Constitution, it's a state
It
right,
goes to the states.
and that's where it should have went, and it should have always been there. Now, like I said, the whole abortion thing, it's not my business. The point is, everyone's like, oh, the Supreme Court's writing laws and all that. Well, you're a moron if you think that, because the Supreme Court is upholding the law, because it never should have went to the state.
Yeah, it's upholding the Constitution. They're-
Exactly. You should read
Some
the
people-
Constitution and
some
know the
people want
Constitution.
activist judges. I was talking about my brother, and he was like, "There's a large swath, allegedly, according to the media, that don't care about the Constitution. They think it's just a piece of document that's outdated and everything else. Like, there's not a reverence taught for our history of why and how they wrote the Constitution.
Yeah, they need to be removed
And,
from
the
office.
Constitution was like the second attempt, right? Because didn't they write the Articles of Confederation first?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they took away freedoms that they actually had allowed in the Articles of Confederation. So, I mean, you could go back and say, yeah, the Constitution's flawed. It needs to give us more freedom,
Right. Not less.
not less. Like, which is what somehow a portion of our society has determined that we need more strict rules from our government. I guess it all depends until the rules come for them.
Yes.
Once the rules affect them, then they'll see, oh, wait, maybe we're giving them too much power. Like, you can't say it's okay over here to limit, conservative ideas, or it's okay to limit liberal ideas. No. Like, you need to, have very few limits on what you can do. We need freedom,
Right. That was the whole purpose of this.
which comes from not being a slave, like we were talking about on the whole thing. Like, we're all slaves to the electric companies, to the gas companies, until we either figure out how to break that down and reduce costs so that, think about it. Have you ever thought about how much money we spend on things that really shouldn't cost as much as they do? Like, think about, if you know somebody that's on Social Security, and they're, as they get older, they need more and more medicines, allegedly. The amount of money that people put into their prescriptions compared to how much they're getting from Social Security, it leaves them with hardly anything. It's not a livable wage to, Social Security is paying basically for car insurance, whatever supplements you got to pay to Medicaid, and your prescriptions.
Let's keep in mind that Social Security was their money. They paid in. It's not some check from the government. That's some handout. That was their retirement, which, that's a perfect socialist program right there that we
it's
all
a
buy
social-
into.
yeah. That's
that
what I always say.
Has failed miserably, because if those people invested in real companies, their return would have been much better.
But it's rigged, right? So,
Yeah.
Think about how many times over the last 20 years people have taken a big dive because stocks, people overinvest. We had the .com bubble, we had the housing bubble. So, everybody's, even those who have 401ks, have taken a hit.
Yeah.
There's not much protection when people are allowed to make bad decisions and they're rewarded for it. Just like with the airlines canceling all these flights,
Yeah.
how much money they get in bailout?
Yeah. We bailed them out. We bailed the auto industry out. Bailed out banks. Bailed out everybody.
Bail out everybody,
Not
and
us.
yet cars last about 36,000 and 10 miles, right? Like right after your warranty runs out, everything starts breaking. They don't make anything to last anymore. Like they've ruined our, quote unquote heroes from literature and movie telling. They've ruined those. They've ruined our American machinery tradition, which is where we build everything to last.
Yeah.
Like that's how we won the Cold War. Is Russia would try to, or the Soviet Union, their washing machines would break. Everything was garbage that they produced. They didn't have any creativity because they didn't let creativity flourish, which is what the U.S. used to be, and we're slowly taking away that creativity because we're mandating what you will and will not do and say and how you'll talk and everything else. And it's like, why am I going to be productive for these clowns that they're just they're weak. They were bullied in school, or they feel that something is lacking in their life, and so they want to tell me and you what to do. They want to wear that mask to feel like that gives them a sense of betterment over you or something. Not all people. Well, some people, right, have to wear a mask because they got other conditions, but no, not at the rate that we're seeing still walking around. It's like we were bamboozled. We never should have locked down. They left liquor stores open and shut down churches. What more do you need to see that something wasn't right? There was no common sense. No logic was applied because they should have been like, hey, sorry, but we're going to have to, liquor stores will be open, on an appointment basis, but continue on and be careful. Right? Like if you're going to shut something down, like I just throw liquor out there. Like I'll have a beer or whiskey with anybody, so I'm not hating on the alcohol industry. I'm just saying I find that odd.
State never shut down ski resorts either. It's odd. Sununu being part of that whole, ski resort thing. But hey, so World War II soldiers' message to America. So 100-year-old World War II veteran nails what is wrong with the current day Americans in tearful guidance. People don't realize what they have. Carl Sperlin, DeKalb, survived World War II, but he's extremely concerned about the current state of the United States. DeKalb recently celebrated his 100th birthday, was outspoken about how the direction of the country is seemingly going in the wrong direction. He told WTVT, people don't realize what they have, the things we did, the things we fought for, and the boys that died for it. It's all gone down the drain. The tearful decorated World War II Marine stated, we haven't gotten the country we had when I was raised. We haven't got the country we had when I was raised. Not at all. Nobody will have the fun I did. Nobody will have the opportunities I did. It's just not the same, and that's not what our boys, and that's not what they died for. Crazy, and it's so true. And he went to war. 1940. They shipped me right straight out to Guantanamo, which was a Navy base, and they put me in a machine gun company. And they were scared all the time, and I don't care what anybody says. We were valuable all the time since Pearl Harbor, particularly. He recalls. He's a Silver Star awarded soldier. It was an honor for me to serve my country. If I do it again, I would do this. And I was the same age, I would do it. I guarantee you. And then, it's just.
Yeah, it's the country's going downhill quickly.
Yeah, we need to get back to our core values in this country, and I don't care who that offends. I'm all done sitting back and being like, no, I don't care. I don't care if you're offended by it. This is what this country was, and this is what this country will be. And if you don't like this country, then move to another freaking country, because this country was set up so that everyone had an opportunity to succeed. Everybody had an opportunity to do whatever they're.
Yeah, and the mistakes that we've caught, we've tried to correct them.
Yeah.
But right now, there's a lot of things going on that people just don't want to believe, or
They just follow blindly. Like they don't care. It's like you just keep going and you keep letting these idiots that run, Chicago, run Chicago. Chicago has been this way for how long now?
I learned about the machine in Chicago. I got nothing for, I'm sure there's great people that live in Chicago, but I got nothing for Chicago. I've been there.
I've been in Chicago, like, the downtown nice area of Chicago, and I I liked it, but that's not the areas that's having all these issues. It's the outskirts. You just go out a little bit, and every single week, this is the case.
But the reason why I say that is why am I going to invest my time, energy, and resources, or if God forbid something bad were to happen, why would I risk my life for Chicago or Illinois in general? Because it's horrible. It's like New York. It's just like, what society do y'all live in?
And this is, keep in mind, this is the society that they're pushing for more and more and more, is the Chicagos, the Californias that's, have this mass exodus of people because you can't afford to live in California.
Yeah, I mean, there's just
Like, and then we talked a couple weeks back in Philadelphia.
people will convince themselves that life's not that bad, everything's okay. We'll elect them next time. I just got to put up with this. And no, you don't. Move. Get out of there.
Pack your stuff and leave. Send a message then. I don't need to live in Chicago. I can live anywhere else I want.
That's what the great thing is like that's why how I found New Hampshire. There were a few states that don't tax income, and that narrowed my list down. So that's fewer taxes that I have to pay.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to give my money to bureaucrats that I didn't elect, sitting there making decisions about me.
We've sheltered people so much now that we've forgotten that this country's only been free because of people like that.
You have to have a free exchange of ideas, and censoring people is not a free exchange of ideas. Everything starts with a free flow of information and ideas. And if you and I sit here and we have to temper our words and watch how we say things, then what good is it? Then we're not free. That's not freedom. Freedom is like, yeah, I think you're a jackwagon, and I think you're a nice person, but on this idea, you're a jackwagon. Like, you need to go back and read some more books. Instead, you say that like, he's calling me stupid. Yeah, no, I'm saying you're misinformed.
Yeah.
But like, people take words as like violence. Words are not violence. Words can threaten,
Right.
which I don't condone.
Right.
But you got to be able to have a free flow of ideas, and sometimes the truth hurts. Sometimes it stings. I'm not always a nice person. I'm not always right. If I can't accept that, then I need to go and figure out what's wrong with me internally. It doesn't have anything to do with you.
Right. It's not. That's a
It's
you
like if
problem.
60 out of 65 people don't like you, the problem is you.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, 5 out of 65 don't like you, then all right, whatever.
Right.
You just got to deal with that. But if the majority of people that you talk to are like, man, this guy's a jackass, the problem's with you.
Yeah.
And it hurts to hear that. And it hurts for all of us to realize that, oh, I made a mistake. Own up to it, move out, and move on to the next thing. Be a better person for it, and don't make that mistake again, or try not to make that mistake again.
in the
Very
world.
simple. I don't understand how it gets so like, oh, people get all mad. Like, I can get mad about certain things, but I don't get mad at like people here in Newport. I mean,
Yeah. No.
we all are victims of what we read and don't read.
This is
Now Sununu, now I can get angry with him because he's not living up to his promises.
no. He's also an elected official.
Well, that's to me the big problem. Well, number one, I got a problem with. They need to pay their fair share for schools. That's been going on since the '90s, so that's not directly at Sununu, but he could fix that. Him and all the Republicans could fix that right now.
Oh, that's another law that New Hampshire doesn't enforce. Doesn't do anything with. Judges don't do anything with it.
I mean, they ruled 20 some odd years ago that
Yeah.
they need to pay.
Yep. Still doesn't happen though, does it?
So anyway,
And that's something you can fix. That's something where you need to get involved. For instance, Okay, you don't like the Roe versus Wade thing, and your state decides that it's going to ban abortion. Okay, and if you don't like that, then run for Senate, run for Congress of that state,
Yeah.
and
Or
you could change it.
attend the committee meetings where they're going to discuss this.
Correct.
Sign up and tell your tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it's compelling enough to change someone's mind.
Right. But don't just say, oh, the system, blah, 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 or this, that. No, get involved.
It's like that one day when we went up there and the one lady from, well, I think her parents were from Vietnam,
Yeah.
but she was like, wake up, this is the same kind of junk that went on that my parents fled from to give me a better life, and now here we are doing it.
Right. And no one
this
wants to listen
country.
to her.
Yeah.
She knows firsthand exactly about this.
Right.
She's telling you this is what's happened to her country, and this is where it is now. You can look it up. Stop following the same path.
Right.
That's like her running out of the building, saying the building's on fire, and everyone inside, no, it's not on fire. And you perish in the building because
Yes.
at what point do you just say, oh, wow.
Yeah. Or at least go back and look into it and be like, you know what? Democrats or Republicans, whichever side is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have to break with you on this one. I'm going to have to serve my conscience.
Yeah.
And maybe y'all should too. Have you thought about this? Like, maybe the party has it wrong. Maybe our platform
Well-
needs to be changed.
For instance, Matt Gaston's up for re-election this year. So, you're already getting bombarded with commercials on TV, and, like, she's helped lower the cost of drugs. That's this big thing. And I'm like, she lowered the cost of drugs? I don't see anything lower. Maybe somehow she did somewhere, but who in their right mind would vote for any of the people that are in there right now? Any of them. You're running for a re-election. Your gas you can't afford. Your food you can't afford. You can't afford anything. You can't afford your electricity, which that's not necessarily all of Washington's fault because that's more of a localized thing. However, some of the decisions they make come back to us here, and some of the reasons they said for the electrical costs was just energy in general is going up because of cost of fuel and everything else. But how could you possibly reelect that person? And how could you possibly go on Facebook and be like, oh, you should vote for this person? And not say, you know what, maybe we need to put someone else in there.
Yeah, maybe we need to put, how many is in the U.S. House? 535 or what, 435, whatever it is. Whatever the number
435.
is. Maybe I think I added in the Senate
You did,
in
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Like all new people to go in there and say, all right, well, if we have enough oil and natural gas in this country to where our prices should never spike.
Just in
At
Texas
least
and
not in our lifetime.
just in New Mexico and Texas, there's enough oil to run this country for like 200 years. Oh, it's funny because when I was in school, I heard that we have enough oil for 50 years, and I've never heard that again.
Well, when I was in school, Social Security was going to be insolvent by
I heard that too.
1998. Then, as I got out of college in 2005, 2010 or 12, you know what I mean? Like, it's always going to run out. There's always something to get you scared, so you vote for this person because they're going to fight for Social Security.
Yeah.
No, put in people that are just going to go in there and fight for Newport, for your small town, wherever it is that you're watching, for your state. That's who you need to vote for.
Do your job or get out. It's real simple.
Both Republicans and Democrats.
Absolutely.
Do your jobs.
Yeah, because I keep talking about Democrat.
Well, you've been pretty fair. It's across the board. It's pretty much everybody needs to be replaced. 99% of them.
There was another meme. I thought I saved it. I don't know if I did now, but basically it said that. I know I shared it on my Facebook, but they talk about Republicans winning the House and the Senate back and all that. And, like, we don't need committees. We don't need this and that. We need people going to jail, being arrested.
Right. We don't need an angry letter.
No,
written.
we don't want any of that crap. You have the proof. You've had it for a long time now. Now is the time we want to see people in handcuffs.
Yeah, you allegedly have the proof, so
Right.
put it all out there
Yeah.
and start arresting.
Yeah, we want to see these people in handcuffs.
The client list, somebody has it at the FBI, DOJ.
Yeah.
Start arresting people and be like, hey, sorry to burst y'all's bubble, but these 200 people are
Let's just
criminals.
say this. Hunter Biden's laptop is in a congressional hearing on the record, the whole laptop, Yet
You can go out there
he's
and-
still free.
Yeah, you can go out there and look at everything that he was emailing for the most part. It's all
Yeah.
been cataloged.
What happened? Why is he not in jail?
Marco Polo, I think it is, on Telegram or
It's
it might
all
even- Might
there.
even be a website.
Yeah.
You can go in there and like put in keywords and find out what kind of degeneracy our president's son was involved with, allegedly, according to these things that I've seen or read.
All right, so I got the positive meme, but I gotta do this other meme first because I forgot that I had it. So it's Kamala Harris, and she's, I don't know, she's sitting somewhere, you know, president, blah blah blah.
She's getting interviewed by Kiki Palmer in that question. In that,
Is
you know, they don't get interviewed by journalists. They get interviewed by
Right.
Kiki Palmer, and who was the one that interviewed Biden?
Nah.
She sings WAP.
Oh,
Cardi
yeah,
B.
Cardi B.
That's the hard-hitting journalists that we need: Kiki Palmer and Cardi B.
Anyway, she's sitting here, and she's supposedly in New Orleans, and they spelt Louisiana wrong behind her head. There's supposed to be an I right after the U. You can't make this crap up. Like, you have people that catch these things, because mistakes happen. We make mistakes. I make a lot of spelling mistakes. Like, it happens. But that shouldn't happen at that level.
How was
right
the
there.
vice president up there where you're taking pictures of her?
And you spelt the state that you're in currently wrong.
I've lived in Louisiana before.
Can you spell it?
I can.
See?
I've lived in St. Louis, so it's kind of easy to spell.
Yeah, just add the Anna on the
And the Iana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not an E, but
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. So this is this is my positive meme of the day, but it's kind of both, right? So a country so damn great that even her haters won't leave, which is so true. None of the people that are going to leave the country if Trump got elected, they're still here.
well, there's a singer that said he was going to leave or revoked his citizenship after
The guy,
they reversed Roe v. Wade.
yeah,
which-
was the guy from Green Day?
yeah, I think so. Or
Yeah.
Blink 182. Yeah,
Green Day, right? See ya. Get out.
I agree. Like I would go to if
They're not
New
going
Hampshire
to,
gets
though.
bad enough, I'll go to a different state if I can afford it, and even if I can't, if it's bad enough, I'll leave. Like you can vote with your presence, like we've said twice on the show already.
Listen, it's just like Neil Young when he pulled his music off Spotify because of Joe Rogan. All of a sudden, there was a story over the weekend. Their music's back on Spotify because at the end of the day, it's about money and they don't care, really care about the rhetoric. It's just, we'll make a stand and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, look, you're back.
Well, yeah,
Put your money where your mouth is, dude. Stay off Spotify. Oh, you're
they
back.
can't do that. It's just like Disney can't tell China no, and that's why they have their 2 different movie posters for Star Wars because they couldn't have a black actor prominently displayed on it. So if you look at the movie poster for China versus everywhere else in the world, I forget the actor's name, but he's very
Michael B.
tiny.
Jordan.
No.
Oh, Star Wars, you said. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you were thinking of
Black Panther.
Black Panther. But
Yeah,
anyway,
my
they
bad.
probably did that for that too. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know anything about Black Panther, so I don't know if they did that. But they did it allegedly for Star Wars.
Yeah.
You can see them. You can go out there and look at the difference.
Well, they banned the new Buzz Lightyear in like 16 countries, and that completely flopped. Yet, the movie that we haven't seen still, and Chief told us to watch because he watched it 3 times now. It's Top Gun, and I think it just broke $1 billion. It's like the highest grossing movie ever now, or whatever.
Interesting.
Which is everyone's talking about how
Hey, I asked Nikki to go see it with me, and she's like, "We'll watch it from our couch." She gave me that's like a Steven answer. I was like, "All right, cool."
we should go see that this week, just because, just
On
to
Chief's
show.
recommendation,
Yeah,
just to add $14 more to the profit pile of what it means to be an American, allegedly, since we haven't seen it.
and I'm not like a huge Tom Cruise fan anymore. Like I used to way back, but I'm not really. But I would go watch it because the movie's about like patriotism stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's that Clinton era kind of.
It's about America.
Yes.
America.
And it tells you right now that if a movie like that is grossing that, and then a movie like Buzz Lightyear is tanking, It tells
goes to show
exactly
you that
what people want.
Yeah.
They don't want your woke crap anymore. We want our patriotism. We want our
Yeah, we want to escape reality. I don't want to go get preached at.
no.
And I'm sure there's some preachiness in Top Gun, but it's probably a kick rear end movie where it's
Yeah.
action, adventure, gives you an escape from reality.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
All right, guys.
even though we haven't seen it, we're sitting here talking.
I know. We'll go watch it and be like, Chief was so wrong. That movie's horrible. No, I don't know. But yeah, we should really watch that so that we can educatedly talk about it. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. Enjoy today. It's supposed to rain a little bit later here, which I'm kind of excited about for the garden aspect. I just want to try to get some concrete in before it rains because it's already been wet once in the back of my truck. So, and really don't want 800 pounds of concrete in the back of my truck as a big clump. Won't be fun getting that out. So, have a great day. Thank you for watching once again, and we'll see you tomorrow.